I know. I said I would never come back, but what you probably have figured out about me over the past years, if you have been around in this channel for as long as I have, um, headphone hair, you'll realize that I'm a giant hypocrite and I never can hold my own words. Um, so I really like YouTube and I like to watch people my age, younger or older, talk about the world, talk about being who they are, like different perspectives, all that good, yummy, 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 informative stuff, right? Right. But as YouTube gets more and more monetized, gets more and more commercialized, and becomes more and more like, for lack of a better term, the cable news from when I was a kid, I'm starting to see an influx of gross. And I stated in my quitting video that that was part of the reason why I wanted to quit doing this, opining online so badly, was because nobody gives a shit about my opinions because they are so brainwashed by the opinions of others that they just refuse to look beyond their own comfortable box. And while I understand and have been guilty of that, I don't like finding a safe box only to discover, like not even a video later, it's not safe. It's not safe at all. And it's just like that. It's like, sorry, I haven't showered yet, so I'm a mess. And yesterday was my anniversary, to put it lightly. So I'm not going to say more beyond that. But if I look like a little bit tired, well, use your imagination about that. 22 years is a long time, okay? We celebrated. So, yeah. A couple of years ago, I made a video called MouldTube. And it was my first, like, screed? Because it was pretty whiny, I guess, about how I hated BreadTube's elite. About how I hate how they can say and do atrocious things and say and do horrible things to other content creators or people or anybody and still get away with it because of their high production value, their flashy scripts, their care team, their handlers. Literally, these people are helped by people called handlers, and their staffs. And I'm tired of it. Like I'm it's like seeing all the bullies you grew up with pretend to be like you and then slowly wear you down and make you realize, oh, you're a bully. You've always been a bully and you've been doing this to get in with me so you can take me down. I'm sorry, but no. And I have a problem specifically with the queer MouldTube because y'all have problems. Like, I get it. We're all queer. We all have problems, but y'all have problems because, first of all, it's as white as I am. It's as white as my skin in the bluest light. That would look kind of nice, eh? If I trimmed this little chunk here. Sorry. Like, okay, so I'll just be blunt. Like, my first foray into MouldTube was Lindsay Ellis. Lindsay Ellis and Channel Awesome. But mostly like Lindsay Ellis and how she's handled the whole thing and how she continues to handle the whole thing by integrating herself with queer and trans communities and content creators in order to deflect and distract from the fact that she is barely queer, barely an activist, and has never stood up for any of the people that she claimed that she's been shoving her nose up their asses into. And God knows they love having her nose up her ass. Anytime anybody sees that bitch Lindsay Ellis on any picture, they all goddamn lose their minds. She has so many toe lickers in so many content, like in so many different comment sections that it's not safe anywhere for people like me trying to avoid this bitch and her toxic miasma. And so one of my biggest, Lindsay Ellis sucks, okay? She sucks. She sucked from day one and she sucked from her last day and she still sucks. Anything she touches sucks. Okay? In my opinion. This is all my opinion. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. I don't give a fuck anymore. That was part of my other video. I'm still going to make these videos, but I don't give a fuck who I touch anymore. I don't give a fuck if anybody watches. I don't give a fuck if people notice I'm not wearing a bra. Like, I don't care. Nobody watches it. So I'm doing it for me. And I'm doing it so I can say it, so I can feel better that it's out there in the public, and so that people know that from day one I've been saying this shit. Day one I've been right. And none of y'all are listening to me. And when this happens, when it all comes out that MouldTube is just as corrupt as any other politician in this fucking world right now, nobody's going to apologize to me. Nobody's going to say I'm right. Nothing's going to happen. Because it always goes that way. Nobody listens to me, and I'm always right. Oh my God. I'm Cassandra. Anyway, Lindsay Ellis sucks. And more, because she's basically garbage, but nobody knows it yet, anytime anybody sees her, they go mental. They go absolutely wild. Other content creators who are either past fans of hers or past colleagues of hers who don't give a shit about her past transgressions or abuses towards even their own communities will work with her for that clout. Will work for her for those extra, oh my God, Lindsay Ellis comments, because they are either desperate or garbage, like I've been saying all along. And why I've been putting this video out right now is because I'm angry. I'm angry because I used to follow a content creator named Jessie Gender. She was amazing. She had amazing content. She had great things to say. And then she started this project called Identities or whatever. And she started working with people like Abigail Thorne, Lindsay Ellis, Natalie Wynn, basically all the people that I have been warning everyone else against for a decade and more now. And so that was it for me. I unsubscribed immediately. I explained why. She hasn't replied. She hasn't said a word. And just like everybody else in MouldTube, actually autistic, I'm looking at you. She ignored it, said nothing, pretended like nothing happened, pretended like it was nothing. Stay hydrated. But like, I had been following her since she was in like low numbers. So this was a lot. And it broke my heart. And it made me realize that once you are infected by the mold, you are done. Once you start working with these demonic asshole people, you are done. Your slice of bread is infected. It is molded and you will never get it back. It will never return to what it used to be. Save divorcing yourself from every single thing that made you moldy in the first place. Wow. Like, and then today I thought I found another YouTuber that was excellent. And no, they're infected too. And I say infected because that's what it is. It's a combination of they were either fans and now they're flattered, or they need the money and they're desperate for the clout and the promotion. And I get both sides. I have been a super fan before. I have also wanted clout before. Sorry, that was my stomach. I never get either. Even when I'm 100% right, even when I call it, I am mixed ignored. Always, 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 always. So I am warning you. MouldTube is garbage. It is basically the cable TV. It is the capitalization into making YouTube into more and more like a cable television broadcasting station than anything else, and only worse because it targets the young. Well, actually, no, TV used to do that too, but it also targets the young. It forms parasocial relationships, and it makes people think that what these people say are correct because they have backing. They have money, subscribers, and clout. At least on cable TV, sometimes you have to prove yourself right. You have to prove the product works. On YouTube, like what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm nobody and I can post on YouTube like I'm a celebrity. But YouTube doesn't have the haze of like it's still pretty fancy. It's still pretty seen as something like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just pretty holistic, I guess is the word. Like YouTube used to be this empty, like desolate ground where like there would just be random videos of random people, and you'd sometimes talk to them, and you sometimes wouldn't. Sometimes some of them would be popular, and some of them wouldn't. You'd hear about them. There were these popular blah 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 blah. It wasn't as funded. It wasn't as censored, to a good and a bad degree. Some censorship is good. I think the public killings that they show, like the murders that they showed, and I've seen a lot of them, they would show like a lot of violence and death without censorship on YouTube. And because everybody has, like, because kids have access to this, I actually kind of agree that they have that. But that's only because I'm an uncle and I have younger kids in my life, and I understand how easy it is to be manipulated by these kind of channels. But the problem is with that censorship, and it creates, like I said, an elite of people that can do and say whatever they want because they have the cash, they have the handlers, they have the clout, they have the fans, they have everything. And they can easily stamp down and silence content creators like me who have been shouting for years, begging people to please just listen to anybody else but these 5 or 6 people that you always listen to. Like, what is it? It's Lindsay Ellis, it's Abigail Thorne, it's Natalie Wynn, it's fucking it's Blair White, it's Repzion, it's Jacqueline Glenn, it's so many other people, like the Surfs, Jack Saint, Kazumi Fowler, just so many people who are seen as celebrities, who are seen as like legit sources, like legit, I don't know, like they're not good people. Maybe they started out being good, but somewhere, like, money ruins everything. And like somewhere along the way, be it whether they were kowtowing to their advertisers, God knows, this video was sponsored by blank, or maybe it's Nebula who's got everybody by the ass cheeks, but like, it's gross. It's gross. And it's getting so that it's almost impossible to find anything that has like any resemblance of impartiality that hasn't been touched by this MouldTube. Like, there's just so many different things that these content creators just constantly promote together, and there's no one to say no because they're all in it together. They're all promoting each other. It's all incestuous. It's all so there's no one to say no. There's no one to tell them to stop. And nobody cares because they're entertained and they like flashy bisexual lighting and cute costume changes, you know? People will believe and listen to anything as long as there's bisexual lighting and costume changes, right? Yeah. And like, you may say I'm just a bitter old bitch whining about about their impopularity. Yeah, you don't get to call me her. You don't get to call me her. Only people close to me can call me that. Maybe I'm just a bitter old bitch whining about the fact that they'll never be recognized or seen for who they are and what they contribute to the world, and I'm just tired of seeing people who don't deserve it be raised up and lauded as basically perfect, you know, impervious. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay? Because there are more queers, there are more people, there are more everything than just this stack of moldy bread that you guys keep just and rewatching, and like, you guys are poisoned. You're dying. You're poisoned. You're and you don't even care because you're being told what you want to be told. Except you're not. Because if you bothered to actually watch any of these people, you would see from like you would just see that they don't give a shit about you except what you can give them. It's always been that way. Always. If you have nothing to give them, they don't give a fuck about you. And they never will. And that's what you signed up for. You can't say that that's bad because that's what you signed up for. That's what you sign up for when you become a parasocial idiot. And I know this because I've been a parasocial idiot several times to the aforementioned people that I am literally castigating in this video. So I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about here. And nobody will hear it until too late or not at all. Because I'm not pretty, I'm not thin, don't have the bisexual lighting and the costume changes, and I don't wear a bra. Like, no one gives a shit because I only have 300 subscribers. And I don't wear makeup. And I do videos on the fly. And no one gives a shit. But I'm going to keep saying it. Because I'm tired of this. Like, you know how everybody says that the right wing has like only 4 or 5 different channels that they watch? How are y'all any different with your 4 or 5 different channels that you watch on this? Like, Matt Walsh, fucking, what's his name? Joe Rogan, you know those guys? Those are just the MouldTube of the right. Think about that. I really want you to think about that for a second. That the people that you worship, the people that you know can do no wrong, can say no wrong. Oh, I love you. I want to be your best friend. Oh, if only I could be put into the big circle. Oh, I would be good to you. I would be a good fan. It amazes me. It will always amaze me, but it will never stop because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't care. As long as you can follow somebody who can tell you what to do, you don't have to think for yourselves. You're happy. I'm not happy. And I will be goddamned if I allow my nieflings to be part of such a disgusting, ouroboros bullshit system. Okay? So yeah. MouldTube. RedTube is MouldTube. Whenever I say MouldTube, I mean that group of people. And yeah, they're the same on the right. Like I just keep saying the same thing. I've said it for as long as I've been on this goddamn channel. What, since 2007? Yeah, I've been on here for that long. Been saying the same fucking things. One of my earliest videos is this video about Jacqueline Glenn. Nobody listened to that either. I told you so, and I will always tell you so until you fucking listen to me.